when I've got the video running, I don't want to touch the camera because I get vibration from my hands. You can see it in the viewfinder. So I'm just watching the Bittern. In fact, I can watch it on the screen. And until he goes out the frame, I don't touch.
And here's an example of that vibration. You get this when you're working with very large telephoto lenses. The first thing you can do to reduce it is to slow the video down. So this is the same clip again, but now running at about half speed. That reduces the effect of the vibration, but it's still there. Now the lens here is the 100 to 400 OM lens with the built-in 1.25 extender, so that's a 500mm, 2 times crop factor, 1000mm. Now notice in this next clip I've got rid of the vibration, but the tip of the bill is cropped, and that's because the software that I'm using, PowerDirector, you have the option to get rid of vibration in post-production, but in doing that it crops the picture. Now there is a solution to this. You can spend quite a lot of money and buy the Topaz Video AI. Now this next clip is done with that. No vibration, and it doesn't crop the picture. It must crop it initially and then it auto fills in where it's cropped it, so you go back to the same image size. It's also very slow. This short clip took about 30 minutes to process, but it does the job. Vibration for stills photography is rarely an issue today. The image stabilizer built into these cameras and lenses is incredible, and we're using much faster shutter speeds than we used to because we can shoot at such high ISOs.
Hi, I'm at the Ness Hide at Farring's Nature Reserve in Lincolnshire, and I'm very surprised to have the hide to myself. This is my second day, and there's only one photographer showed up for about 15 minutes. Otherwise, no other photographers. Occasional birdwatcher comes in, and I'm surprised because this is normally very popular. This is one of the hides in the country that you can stand a chance of photographing Bittern. Admittedly, the weather forecast was not very promising. Today it was supposed to rain all day. It rained for about 1 hour and then it stopped. It's cloudy bright at the moment, so I can imagine the weather forecast put a few people off. I tend to ignore our weather forecasts. They are so inaccurate it's hardly worth watching them.
The reed bed in front of the hide is well managed for Bittern viewing, lots of channels, and the Bittern is quite likely to be walking along the edge of one of those channels. I'm using the beanbag today, but you still get this problem with the vibration if you're using a tripod, especially in these public hides with wooden floors. As anybody walks around on those floors or shuffles on the benches, you're going to get vibration through the tripod legs.
Yesterday the Bittern didn't show up at all, but this morning 8 times it's come out into the open. I've mostly been shooting video, and I've let that video run for quite long periods because I want the Bittern as it strikes at a fish, and unfortunately that hasn't happened, but you can't predict it. You just have to leave the camera running and hope.
This was a favourite fishing point for the Bittern. When it did come out, it was nearly always in this spot, and it's just a little bit too far away for the big lens, but as it walks down the channel it becomes big enough in the frame. It's just long waiting periods.
I want him to catch a fish. I want him to do something. This is video. It's all about action, behaviour. I want that action.
I've seen this with Bitterns many times now. When they fish, they just dip the bill into the water and turn the head sideways. Presumably, so they can see the fish. It's hard to imagine that they're successful at this. I wouldn't be able to do it. I wouldn't expect to get anywhere near a fish like this. It looks quite a large bird, but my guess is it's mostly feathers, and if you got rid of all those feathers, there's very little flesh and bone underneath there. You could see its behaviour change when somebody came into the hide. It's not that this person is being noisy, it's just that the hide does tend to echo, and so every little noise sounds louder than it really is. But the bittern just steps aside into the reeds and stretches up, so it's very well camouflaged.
But when you're doing a subject like this, you can't really do anything else. I can't glance down at my mobile phone and read the news or check my emails. I've got to be paying attention the whole time because they're very difficult to see. It can step out in the open, walk quite quickly across one of these channels and it's gone again. So you've got to be paying attention all the time. It could actually do with a group of photographers here, so one of us might stand a chance of seeing it. So it makes the day rather long, and it's bitterly cold too. I've got 2 coats on, 2 pairs of trousers, just trying to keep warm. Fortunately, there's no wind blowing. So while we're sitting here with nothing to do, just waiting and watching, what's the 2 most important things in photography? Well, number 1 is time, having the time to put into it. So in this hide, let's say I did almost 4 hours yesterday and I'll do pretty close to 8 hours today, so let's call that 11 hours in total, just sitting here doing nothing. I have to push myself to do that. I had to push myself hard to get out of bed this morning. And as I trudged across from the car park to the hide, I was pushing myself. And at the end of the day, as the light starts to go down, I'll give myself a target. I say I'm going to stay till 4 o'clock. When I get to 4 o'clock, I'll try and push myself to stay to 4:15. When it gets to 4:15, I'll say, let's stay another 5 minutes. So I'm here to 4:20. And then at 4:20, I'm slow to pack my gear away. The longer you wait, the more chance you get. Or the longer the wait, the luckier you get. Second most important thing in photography is light. And you can't buy that. Well, actually you can buy that. You can go abroad. You can go to Florida. So yeah, but here in the UK we're stuck with the light we've got. So I came back from Spain a week ago today. And in Spain we had a week of blue skies, one afternoon when it rained. I haven't seen the sun since I got back to the UK. It's just been grey skies. But light is very, very important to photography. Get the right light, and it isn't always sunlight you want. Sometimes you want it overcast when it's contrasty conditions, or a contrasty species, a black and white bird. You don't really want the sun shining, you want cloudy bright. But the light is very, very important. Far more important than this. The camera, the lens, really low down the pecking order when it comes to importance.
I failed to get any video of the bittern catching fish, so I'm just going to show you an old picture, which I did some years ago. Thanks for watching.